What's up everybody, Trinity here, and welcome back to the 2nd Street Marvel for today's comic book review double feature. That's right guys, Marvel is back with their Dawn of X titles, and that's what I'm going to be talking about in today's comic book review. And I'm telling you guys, we got a pretty exciting week ahead of us here with these books. The first one I'm going to be talking about is going to be Marauders issue number 6. Guys, you guys know Marauders has been one of my favorites pretty much since these things have started to spin out. And this one, you know, it started a little bit lower on the list, maybe like number 3 or so. But man, I'm telling you, this one has quickly grown into one of my favorites. Probably number 1. I don't know. It's so hard with X-Force, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, the other one I'm going to be talking about is Excalibur issue number 6 as well. So make sure, you stay to the end so you can watch me review both of these things, right? Anyway, alright, so the first one we're going to talk about today is Marauders issue number 6. This book is being drawn, the writer, is Jerry Dugan. Matteo Lolli and Mario del Penino are the artists. Eric Arciniega and Federico Blee are the color artists, and VC's Corey Petit is the letterer. Russell Dodderman and Matthew Wilson are the cover artists. And guys, I just want you guys to know something right now, okay? I'm not sure if you're out there listening, Marvel. Maybe you are. Maybe you're coming specifically to my channel to watch my videos. And if you are, hey, it's okay. You don't have to like my videos or anything. I know I'm kind of a jerk sometimes, and I can be picky. But you know what? I gotta thank you guys about something. You guys know I've got a comment on this. See, look at that. Look at that. See those names right there? See how I show you those names right there? And, there's all that stuff there? It's the title page on one page! Woo! Man! I feel like I'm winning here. Thank you. Marvel, thank you. Thank you. I don't know how many times I'm going to say it, but thank you. We got a one-page title page. Believe me, when I seen this, I almost fell out of my seat laughing, and I wanted to jump for joy at the same time. They finally gave me just a one-page title page, and I'm so happy. But we did still get this. We did still get, the little intro page that's telling us the same thing at the beginning of every issue. But that's all good. I'm gonna let you slide there, Marvel, because you gave me one-page title page. Woo! Man, okay. Anyway, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just excited about that. You guys know how much I gripe about that. More on that in a minute. So Marauders issue number 6. Now we know in issue number 5 we had seen the, and something, this book just confirms so many things that I've been talking to you guys about, just some of my suspicions about what's been going on in this book, in this title. What I've loved about this series is we get to see the arm wrestling match between Sebastian Shaw and Emma Frost, because Sebastian Shaw was so pissed off when Emma Frost gave away that 3rd seat on the Quiet Council of Krakoa to Kate Pryde. Yes, I called her Kate Pryde, didn't I? He was so mad, and this book has chronicled this arm wrestling match between the two so great. And I'm telling you, this dude has a lot to do with stuff. He does. Anyway, we open this book up where, issue number 5 left off. We've seen that the Marauder had been boarded by the Hominus, by Hatemonger and, God, what was the other guy's name? Hatemonger and, oh man, why I forget his name all of a sudden? But you guys know who I'm talking about, right? It says in here somewhere. There's Hatemonger and man, it's really unimportant. But what's important is they were under attack by these people on the Marauder, and they were there to shut down their powers. We seen they had those little super suits like they had in Russia, and they shut down the mutants' powers and. Yeah, it was all pretty cool. Well, that's pretty much where this issue picks right back up, back into that drama. Kate Pryde is there. She's kind of telling you, a little bit of narration here as we hop right into the action. She's saving a couple people's asses, and and then she begins to fight. Well, while she's there fighting against these Hatemonger, man, that's really bugging me who the other guy is there. Dang it. Oh man. I'm so terrible with these things. Anyway, so she's there saving everybody's asses, and then she starts and joins the fight. Well, lo and behold, they're trying to stab her, and she ends up phasing, and this guy stabs right through her and ends up poking Pyro, as you can see right here. Pyro's like, oh my god, it burns! We all know the joke there. It burns like it's pyro. And anyway, what's funny is he starts off the book talking about he starts off the book here talking about wear a sheet and get beat, you racist clowns. It's kind of funny. We all know because in the issue number 2, he ended up getting this tattoo all over his face, thus giving him blackface. I'm telling you. They're just doing some silly things here in this book, and it's just kind of funny. And I've loved this book. I've loved this book. That's just funny. That's just funny stuff. But what we soon find out is that this tale of pirates here in Marauders somehow gives me a throwback back to the 80s in that movie Inner Space. You remember that movie Inner Space with Dennis Quaid? Such a great movie, man. I need to go back and rewatch that and review that here soon because it was a good one. So we see it turns in kind of this little thing about just like the movie Inner Space. After Pyro gets stabbed, just some interesting things and the people he's dealing with here because exactly what's going on here with that because we know that the Hominis Verendi are basically this group of these young kids right here who have chosen to they want to try to take away some of the power from Krakoa and get some of the drugs and just all those things. Nobody wants to see the mutants doing good here, damn it. Anyway, so we know there's that, and we know that this Executioner. There we go, Executioner. I finally found his name in here. We see the Executioner and Hate Monger. We're stopped. They were fighting with Kitty, and she ends up escaping their boat. She kind of leaves them behind and says, "Hey, I'm out of here, guys." Because they were getting ready to kick her butt again, or so they thought. So she hops onto the ship, and lo and behold, she finds out who some of the people were conspiring against who was attacking the ship. The ship. Was it Upstart? Sebastian Shaw's son, Shinobi Shaw's ship that he had, and he was trapped there on there with some of the other the mutants that he was bringing to Krakoa. Remember, that's where they were going to save him in the last issue. Well, she hops aboard their boat, and she finds some very interesting things below deck. But look, who does she find up there at the top? Yeah, we got remember? So she finds out who some of these people who were double crossing her, and that is Donald Pearson. What's her name? Chen Zhao. Remember, she was from issue number 2 or 3. So she's there fighting with them, and kind of doing her pirate thing, and they exchange some words. Just a nice little battle going on here. Just I don't know, just some cool stuff. Like I'm saying, this book is actually this particular issue has quite a bit of action in it. And we see that they end up getting the battle won here, and they end up so at this point they have 2 ships. They have this one ship that they don't want to let go because it's got all these different suits that they had got from the Russians or whoever it was. We'll get into that a little bit here. They have this room full of all those suits that take away the mutants' powers, that nullifies their powers. So they want to take this boat, so they commandeered this boat, and they've also got the Marauder, and they have to get all these things back to Krakoa. Well, they have a discussion like, hey, we can't take this boat back to Krakoa. That's not going to be good. You know what I mean? It's full of it's the enemy's ship, and it's full of their battle droids. They're going to come for like basically we don't want to put a target on our backs. So they decide to go ahead and split the crew up. Basically, the Marauder along with all the other mutants that need to get to Krakoa, they get aboard the Marauder. They have a gateway there. It's a secret gateway. And they get all the people, all those mutants back to Krakoa, and they still end up splitting up, and they're gonna meet on Island M. They don't want to take it back to the Krakoa mainland, so they're gonna meet on Island M. And that's really largely what happens in this book for the most part. We also get, more of these white pages. You guys know how much I love those. We get another one of those in here. It's called the Verendi Sub-Log. And, that kind of goes into the story I was talking earlier about Inner Space. Now, when we get to the end of this book, we get some interesting things going on here, guys. Stuff I've been talking about for a while. As kind of what we've seen throughout this whole series. This whole series of, Sebastian Shaw just wanting to arm wrestle because he wants all of it. I told you guys before, he was pissed when he lost that that third seat on Krakoa. He wanted it to be for his son. He wanted his son to be the Red King, and he ended up getting overvoted by the White Queen, and so we got the White Queen and the Red Queen, and I'm telling you, I knew this whole series was about him wanting that, and I mean, he pretty much, some stuff comes to light, and he pretty much, I mean, lays a lot of things out here on the table. And I'm telling you guys, I told you guys I was right, man. I knew it. That's what this series was all about. Sebastian Shaw arm wrestling with I almost said Emma Stone. With Emma Frost for control of the Quiet Council over that whole branch. And I'm telling you, he wants total control of the Hellfire Trading Company. Man, I was so excited to read this book, guys. I've been enjoying Marauders. I liked this issue. This issue is really great, very climactic. In case you guys can't tell, I'm pretty hyped up and excited about it. This is a great book, but I will say one thing that I wasn't too particular about was we got Matteo Lolli back here on arts. I believe he did like the first 2 issues, then he took off, and then he did this issue and maybe I don't know. I think he maybe just 2 issues and then this one. For some reason, maybe I got used to the previous 2 issues art, but I liked the previous 2 issues, and where I really started to notice that was in some of the faces that he was drawing here. Like, for the most part, because there's 2 artists here, I think they did a good job, but there are some of these scenes here where it just doesn't work for me, and I'm going to show you where that really starts off at, and that's right here with Storm. I don't like the way the Storm is drawn here. Now, in the last issue, I think that was in the last issue number 5, where Storm, she thunders through, she lands. Remember, she landed in the on that beach, beating down those fools, man. Like, that art was great. This right here, I just don't. I'm not too particular about this art for Storm. Go ahead and look at a little bit more of that there. I don't like this. This isn't, I mean, it's not bad. It's not terrible, but it just looks a little too cartoony for me. It doesn't seem to fit the tone and the mood, and we can get here, even in this next page. I mean, look at Kate Pryde right there. See some of that face work, how it looks a little too cartoony. Like, and in the past couple of issues we've been getting, it's been just a little more raw. Just the artists who were on those, I think, did a little bit better job. Again, this isn't a bad job, but the art did certainly stand out to me once I opened this book and started reading it. Again, not a bad book. I have no complaints about it other than just that, I don't know. It looked a little more like the next book we're going to talk about here. It looked a little more like that art. But let me know, guys, did you read Marauders? Have you had a chance to read Marauders issue number 6? Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below, because I'm telling you, we're going to be talking about this on Saturday during the show that I'm going to be doing with Dylan's Comic Book Rants and Chris from Chaos and Comics. We've been doing this every Saturday. You should go check it out. It happens on Saturdays. And if it's not on my channel, it'll be on Dylan's Comic Book Rants channel, or even Chaos and Comics. I'll go ahead and leave some links down in the description, or maybe even, leave those little things up here. Where does it appear at? Where's it appear at? I'll leave some links up there so you guys can find that, and maybe I'll link them back later here for the channel. Now, the next one I want to talk about here is Excalibur issue number 6. Okay, guys, now let's get into this one now. You guys have heard me talk about this. I've largely liked the story, just not the way it's written with this series. But this one is being written by Teenie Howard. Marcus Toe is the artist, Eric Arciniega is the color artist, VC's Corey Petit is the letterer, Tom Muller on design, and the cover artist is Mohammed Asrar and Matthew Wilson, with Nick Russell in production. Jonathan Hickman is head of X. And look what we got here. Oh, guys, man, see? Just when I thought we were in the clear, they went, oh. Man, this has to be due to those delays that they had in printing and putting out the books. This has to be due to that. Because I have a feeling that since they listened to me and all my griping for Marauders issue number 6, I'm guessing they heard me for all of these books. Because Marvel, if you're watching, I meant it about all these books. Every one of these books needs to have a one-page title page. Not just the one. Not just the one. Anyway, guys, I've really liked the story that's been going on in Excalibur, but like I said, the dialogue and just like the character interactions, I haven't been so wild about. The same thing kind of happens here in this issue as well, where I like the story, but just the characters, the way they're talking, their interactions, I just don't quite like. I don't know, there's just something about it. It's not terrible, but it's just not interesting. It's not anything that draws me in. But what we see is, remember, we ended issue 5 with Rogue, and, she showed up, she woke up, and what'd she do? She killed Apocalypse and took his powers. That's right, but, just like we find here a little bit later, is that, he's one of the members of the Quiet Council, so when he dies, naturally, he gets top priority in being brought back to life. And we see at the very beginning of this book, Apocalypse is back alive. And then we get something else. You guys know how much I love these white pages. More white pages with a little bit of explanation of something that, you know, we probably didn't really need to be told. We probably could have guessed most of this, to be honest with you, or it could have been in like just like a little panel, you know, just like, you know, like one of these little or maybe even instead of having that 2 pages right there, but it could have been explained in like, you know, one of these little panels like here in the comic book. I mean, there's really not a whole lot there, but we see that. You know, they pretty much had stopped the forces there of Otherworld from coming over into the real world, or I guess from not magic world, but anyway, we open up on Avalon with Captain Britain. We've got all the other, we got Jubilee there. We've got Rictor. We've got Gambit. We've got Rogue. Bryde Braddock is there. Jubilee. I already said Jubilee. You know, just all these same people that we see here at the beginning of the book. There, they're all there. And they're still fighting with you know, still getting ready to fight Morgan Le Fay and her forces. And that's kind of when Apocalypse steps in and says, hey, you know what? Let's just have a duel here. Let's have a duel to see who wins. A fight to the death to see who wins. And whoever wins shall get control of Otherworld. And that's pretty much about it. You know, that's how we're going to do this. We're going to do this old school Rochambeau style, man, okay? So they go ahead and do that. And who do they have? Of course, you know, they've got Bryde Braddock versus Betsy Braddock, and you know, so they, you know, the brother and sister end up fighting. They got to fight to the death, and of course, you know what that means, because Betsy Braddock is a mutant, you know, and Apocalypse explains that as well with Morgan Le Fay, because Morgan's like, well, she has no reason to fight if she can just be resurrected, and you know, like really, you know, all she got to do is, you know, bend the knee and just lose to my guy, and Apocalypse pretty much assures her like that's not what's gonna happen here, okay? And he just pretty much just leaves it at that. So they end up fighting, and lo and behold, Apocalypse wasn't wrong. Apocalypse knows his stuff, but he also had a plan that he was kind of had going on in the background as well. Once they fought and she won, and you know, all that kind of stuff. They had a little plan going on here, and just some other things going on here as well. And then what happens here is they end up getting a new king in Otherworld. Yes, in Otherworld, and Avalon now has a new king. And who was crowned? Well, you're going to have to wait and find out. You're going to have to read that for yourself. But I can guarantee you, like, I thought the story here was actually pretty good. Again, some of the character interactions here, I'm just like, I don't know if it's the language they use, the way they're talking to each other. Something about it, to me, just doesn't feel quite right. Again, I've liked the story, how Otherworld and the magic has largely affected the real world, and how, you know, vice versa. They explained that in the first issue, which I completely enjoyed that whole thought. And then we end up here at the very end of the book. Oh man, look at that. Gambit got his girl back. She's back to normal. He don't have to sit there and pretend like he's getting ready to bump uglies with Apocalypse. So, and that's what they do. They sit here and they have a nice little conversation. They get back together. You know, they're on Krakoa having a good time, and they're getting ready to have a good time, and they're just discussing some personal things between the two. And hey, like, I don't know. Thought it was pretty cool. There's just some of this stuff in the dialogue here that just kind of gets me like, I don't know. I mean, nothing really bad or anything. Just like, I don't know. It's just not what I don't know. Just, I think there's better ways to write this or not include it at all. I could be wrong there, but yeah, anyway, it's really no big deal. It didn't really take away from the story, and it didn't add to it. And then, towards the end, we do see Bryde Braddock return as he is sitting there wielding the sword of God. What's it called again? The sword of. Well, I can't remember what they call it. Some type of blade. But anyway, he ended up taking it. It was the sword of might. See, I was thinking the tree of might. I'm thinking Dragon Ball Z here. And, you know, he's pretty broken down about it because the test that they have to go through where he gets to choose either the Sword of Might or this amulet. And, you know, he's pretty upset because he failed this test. Or so he thought that he failed it. Well, then, you know, we get here towards the end of the book and find there's a little more behind it. And, of course, there's just a little more stuff going on here, just like I've thought with Apocalypse the whole time. I'm telling you, this guy Apocalypse, he's up to something. We've known it since the beginning of Excalibur, and we get more of it in this issue. And I'm telling you, man, I think he's up to no good. I don't know why, I just have a feeling he's up to no good. Plus, he had some plans there for wanting to get killed by Rogue and all that stuff anyway, but I don't know, guys. And like I said, the art in this one, it was pretty good. Just been in line with what has been going on in Excalibur. They've had the same artist here the whole time, where Marauders has kind of had, you know, several different artists on it. Marauders, you guys need to go back to the artists that you had on the previous 2 issues. I know I can't remember the exact names of who they were, but they were doing a really good job. For some reason, just the art here in this particular issue number 6 didn't work for me. But let me know down in the comments below. Have you read Excalibur issue number 6? If so, what are your thoughts? If not, why aren't you reading Excalibur? I get it, it's not for everybody, and I gotta tell you, largely I haven't enjoyed Tini Howard's writing in this. It's not bad, it's just, it leaves some to be desired in some of the character dialogue and interaction. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about these books down in the comments below, and let's have a conversation about these books. That's all I have for today's video, folks. Thank you all so much for tuning into the 2nd Street Marvel. If you're not already, please make sure you're subscribed, click the little bell and all of that good stuff. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, give it a thumbs down if you don't like it. Let me know if you feel like I spoiled these issues for you. I've been trying to keep it spoiler free. I've been trying to. But while you're at it, make sure you share it with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the 2nd Street Marvel. You all have a very good day. Have a great rest of your week. Enjoy these Dawn of X books this week, because guys, there's a whole lot more getting ready to come out. And we'll see you in the next video. Later.